everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Katie for those who have for some reason forgotten, and this is Books R Us. So this is kind of the intro to my Reading Rush challenge video. So 2 weeks ago I talked about my TBR for the Reading Rush. This is actually my video of the Reading Rush week. So the Reading Rush, for those who don't know, it's a week-long readathon. And you basically read as many books as possible with the unofficial challenge of 7 books. So that's kind of what it is. I will be putting down the website, so if you wanted to look at it and see what we did this year, feel free to go and do that. Also, I will say this video is a little lengthy, so I will also be putting my profile for the Reading Rush down below, as well as Goodreads. So if you wanted to skip this part and just go to the end, you don't have to listen to every single thing I say in this, so those will be down in the description below. But with that said, let's get started with that video.
Hey everyone, so it's the first day of the Reading Rush, and the first book I'm going to be reading, and I started reading already, is A Man Called Uwe. This was my book-to-movie adaptation book, and I already watched the movie because it was due last week at the library. So, yeah, so it's good so far. It's very short sentences and succinct. So it makes it an interesting read so far. I know in the movie, that's, when I read the book, it sounds like the movie. Well, the movie sounds like the book. Anyways, started that, and hopefully I will be able to finish this as soon as possible so that I can move on to the next book and get all 7 done this week. Okay, everyone, it's about halfway through the first day, and I am halfway through my book. Hopefully, I mean, I want to finish it, but at the same time, I didn't bring my second book to work, so this should be interesting. So it's that whole thing of, like, making sure I have something to read on the way home, but also finishing the book so that I can start the new one when I get home from work. Anyways, so again, Man Called Uwe, whatever. It's pretty interesting so far. I actually kind of cheated on this one and watched the movie last week, like I said earlier, and which is kind of helping me breeze through this book because, 1, I watched the movie, 2, it's a fairly easy book. But that's kind of where I'm at right now. A lot of different things. I just, on the way home, I did finish the book, A Man Called Uwe, and it was pretty good. Again, book to movie thing, it, didn't match up with the movie, but that's kind of expected in a book. Book to movie adaptation. Basically, if you don't know about this, it's about a guy who's a little stubborn, doesn't like change, and he's lived in the same house for like 40 years or something like that. And this new younger couple moves in and kind of changes his life. Again, definitely give it a read. If not a read, definitely give it a watch. Definitely a good thing to read. Again, it wasn't really on my reading list, like my TBR, until this year when I was doing the DNA TBR a few months back. But yeah, I'm glad I read it. Definitely shows me kind of where I come from and where I get my stubbornness. But tomorrow I am working on Timekeeper, which is a book I wanted to read last year, which, I could have chosen like 5 different ones, or more like 50 different ones. Anyways, it's late, I'm tired, I'm going to bed. Well, it's the second day of book Reading Rush. I was going to say booktubeathon, but it's Reading Rush. So I did finish Ove, like I said last night. I am now on Timekeeper, again, like I said last night. But yeah, I haven't started it yet. But I am walking to the bus because I'm running a little late. So hopefully I'll start it on the bus. See you later. So guess who just finished her second book in 2 days? Me. I just finished Timekeeper by Tara Sim, which was my book that I wanted to read last year but never got around to. So this is a book about timekeepers, obviously, and it's about this one specific timekeeper named Danny, short for Daniel, whose father is stuck in a stuck town. So basically, there are these clocks everywhere, these clock towers everywhere, and they're the things that keep the towns running. And Danny is a timekeeper, and he's a mechanic. He's a mechanic who helps keep the clock towers working. This one that his father was working on broke down, so that town got stuck. And it's 3 years later, and Danny is trying to figure out what happened, how he can unstick the town. And it's a really good book. It's actually the first in a series. But honestly, it left off on a good point, so I'm not sure how they would continue to a second book. But that's 2 books in 2 days. So far, doing better than last year. That's all I have for right now, and I will see you guys later. Hey everyone, so Katie here. Yeah, I kind of got kicked out of my office right now because someone's in there, and I didn't feel like talking in front of someone. But yeah, so I forgot to film this morning before I started my next book, which is The Song of Achilles. By Madeline Miller, which is her first book. It's why I chose it. And so far it's basically just about Patroclus, who was Achilles's, there we go, there's the right word, right-hand man, kind of, in the Trojan War. So I'm really glad I read the Iliad a few months back as part of my 5 oldest published books, I think it was, because then I know who these guys are. It's good so far. It's told in the perspective of Patroclus, first person, and so far they're just 13, and they just met Chiron, the centaur who trains everyone. So yeah, it's good so far. Like I've said like 5 times already, and I will keep you guys updated. I don't know if I'll finish this today, but I'm gonna try. I got a kind of late start on this because I was sleeping on the train because I was exhausted from yesterday. But yeah, hopefully I will, and hopefully that'll be 3 of 3. So it's the night of day 3. I have a few more hours in day 3 for the reading rush. I have about 100 pages left or so of the Song of Achilles. But yeah, right now they are at Troy and fighting the Trojan War. Just beginning of it, realizing that it's going to be longer than they thought. But yeah, good so far. It goes on the relationship between Patroclus and Achilles. So it should be interesting to see kind of how Madeline Miller wraps it up, because everyone knows the ending of the Trojan War and what happens. So it's interesting to see how she brings different people to light and all of that. But I am going to try to finish this up tonight. If I can't and it's getting too late, I'm gonna finish it tomorrow, I guess. I did it! Woohoo! Day 3 is done. 3 books in 3 days. The Song of Achilles is done. Yeah, it ends actually after the Trojan War from... I can't say anything without giving the ending away. I mean, the ending is the Trojan War and kind of what happens after it, but it's the point of view that threw me off. But it was a really good book. I really like it. The Song of Achilles, again, this was the one that I did for the first book by this author. So definitely give it a read because I really like it. If you're into anything Greek or mythology related stuff or the Trojan War, definitely give it a look. I'm just exhausted from reading because I'm used to sleeping on transit sometimes, and I haven't been doing that. So day 4, sorry it's a little loud. I am doing Gods and Heroes. which is my main character, who's not human. But it's a multiple main characters, so I guess that counts kind of. I started it already, but it's pretty good. It basically tells like a story or two or three about different gods and heroes and stuff. Okay, that's it. I'll talk to you later. So like yesterday, I have about 100 pages left in this book. I just got home. I have to eat, so I'll just, I guess, read while eating. But it's really interesting so far. So basically, it's like a watered down kids version of an encyclopedia of all the famous or well-known gods and heroes you should know about. Again, it's, each god or hero gets like 2-3 pages max, maybe 4. And there are like 285 pages in this book. Yeah, roughly 287 pages in this book. So you can see how many gods and heroes and creatures are smushed into this book. So, day 4, finished my 4th book. I am exhausted. It was an advanced copy, so it was good. It was just, there were some grammatical errors in it that threw me off. And punctuation errors as well. That threw me off. But I'm sure that I'm hoping they got switched in the final copy of this. It was good to see kind of different mythologies brought into this. But being a kid's book and being short, they couldn't go into much detail, again, like I said before. But it was interesting to see kind of like an introduction to all of those different mythologies and what they believed in. So what's my next steps? So I have 3 more books to read. The next book I was planning to read was Labyrinth Lost, but I'm not sure now because the last 2 books are my short ones, like the ones that are like this thin. I don't have them in front of me right now, but I might just read those tomorrow and then save Labyrinth Lost for Saturday because I'm exhausted and I seriously need to sleep on the train tomorrow. And how I'm doing with books right now, I'm reading a book a day, and I kind of want to keep that up. And if I read that tomorrow, I'm probably not gonna finish it tomorrow. But I'll probably finish it Saturday. But yeah, that's all I have for you right now. I will update you tomorrow on what I am actually going to be reading, but I am exhausted right now, so I am going to put this into Goodreads and Reading Rush, and then go to bed because I'm exhausted. So this is day 5 of, I was going to call it Book 2-a-thon, but it's not Book 2-a-thon anymore. It's the Reading Rush. And I'm going to go actually today with Labyrinth Lost, but this is by Zoraida Cordova. But I'm going to take my time with this. I'm not going to rush. I'm not going to finish it today, basically. I'm not going to finish it today. If I do, great, but I'm going to take my time with this because the 2 books after that are The Lay of Atron and Idrone and A Quick and Easy Guide to Queer and Trans Identities, both of which are fairly thin, so I should finish those tomorrow, and this one if I don't finish this today. So, that's the plan for today. All I know really about Labyrinth Lost is about there you go, witches in New York City. So it should be interesting. So I didn't think I'd do it, but I did it. Sorry about my hair. It was a little muggy and hot outside. But I said that I didn't think I would be able to read Labyrinth Lost today, finish it, because as I take public transit and I've been exhausted all week, I slept this morning on transit instead of reading, which is what I've been doing all week in the morning. But I just finished this on the way home tonight. Really good. It's about this bruja called Alex, and she's coming into her powers. She knows her family has powers. Has this death die, and which basically concentrates her powers and harnesses them. And it goes awry. They end up in this middle land type thing, where souls go, I believe, or used to, and then someone took over that was bad and wanted more and more power. So it's all about her trying to get her family back and coming into herself and trust. And I really like it, and I really, really want to read the next one. However, I still have 2 more books on my list, and as tomorrow is Saturday, and I am off tomorrow, hopefully I will read both of them tomorrow because they are my 2 shorter books. Hello. So it's the morning of day 6, which is Saturday, and one of my days off. Tomorrow I have off too. So I have 2 books left, and they're pretty short. So I'm hoping to get those guys done today, and then tomorrow I can get onto some books that actually weren't on my TBR because I only have 2 short books left. So the 2 short books I have left are a Tolkien book, which means I can't pronounce the title. It's Alay. There it is. There's the title. Half the Tolkien names I can't pronounce, but I can recognize. So yeah, that should be interesting. But this is my 5 words book, so there's 5 words in the title. The other one that is on my TBR for this challenge is, could count for my 5 words in a title, but it's actually counting for my reading in one place because it's also short. And it's a quick and easy guide to queer and trans identities. This one, again, it could be the 5 words in a title, or purple on the cover, or sit in the same place, but I'm using it as sit in the same place. I decided to go with the 2 short ones at the end, to kind of, so if I had a longer one, I would have to kind of feel rushed, but for these guys, it's like, oh, there are 2 short ones, I have 2 days left, so that should be easy to get, those should be easy to get through. Yeah, I should be able to get these done. I'm hoping today, probably today for at least one, probably today for both. If that's the case, I have all of tomorrow then. So I'm not sure if I'll do another book. If I do, I have some shorter books because it's basically read as much as you can. However, tomorrow is actually my editing day for this. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. So I'm hoping to get these guys done, these 2 books done today after I do some stuff around the house, some cleaning around the house. Woohoo, I did it. I did all 7 books in 6 days. So that was all 7 books on my TBR. So The Lay by Tolkien, this one, the one that I can't pronounce the names of. There you go. So basically for that one, it was 1 poem, 1 lay, and I cannot move this camera right. Anyways, it's a story about, it's based on Celtic stories, I think, or French stories, about a man who goes to a fairy, and he asks for kids, basically, and she's like, okay, I can get you kids, but you're gonna need to pay me back eventually. And it all comes to a head, and she said, either marry me or die. That's basically the ultimatum she says after the kids are born. So there's that one, which was the main one, but then there was some like background on it as well, which is why It's a little thicker. Otherwise, if it was just that poem, it would have been like 10 pages. This is like 100. But yeah, so that's that one. And then I know this camera's all over the place. I'm sorry. And then the next and last one I did for reading in the same spot, which I actually also did with a Tolkien book. But this one was a quick and easy guide to queer and trans identities. This one I did for reading in the same spots, but I could have also done this for purple on the cover, 5 words in the title, and author's first book. So this one, it basically just talked about, identities and defining some terms and stuff in a nice format of like a graphic novel. But yeah, so it is currently 2:00 on Saturday, and so I finished all my books, so I may or may not read another 1 or 2 books, the shorter ones I was talking about earlier, to kind of wrap up today and tomorrow. So it's still Saturday, and I decided to read another book, so I'm going to count it. It wasn't on my TBR because, like I said last video, I already read my TBR for the Reading Rush, and I was going to call it Booktubeathon, so I'm sorry. But this one was Scooby Apocalypse, Volume 5. So basically, I'll tell you what kind of happens in the first one, Volume 1, not Volume 5. So Volume 1, it starts out with Fred and Daphne doing a TV, well, they were in TV, but then they're starting to do like a web series about hauntings and stuff, whereas Shaggy and Velma and Scooby are in like a science facility. Shaggy's taking care of the Smart Dogs program, which includes Scooby. So that's kind of where they set up. That's how everyone starts, and then they meet up because basically an apocalypse happens, hence the title Scooby Apocalypse, and it's brought on by Velma's brothers, and throughout the series then, through volumes 1 through 5, they have to deal with it, and Scrappy comes into play in this one. I know he's not in all of like the TV shows or whatever, but he does come into play with this one. There's zombies. It's really fun. Well, I enjoy it. If you want to keep the Scooby gang like pristine, like 70s, don't read it. But yeah, that's kind of what it happens. There's zombies and they try to survive. But yeah, so that's book 3 today. So woohoo! And then I don't know if I'll get to any tomorrow, because I kind of have to edit this whole video. But we'll see if I get to any tomorrow. So it's the morning of day 7, and my hair is a mess like all of my other videos. And I'm done with my TBR. And today I have a day off, so I'll probably be editing this video. However, I started yesterday with the edits, so I'm okay with that. So I'm going to be reading some more books. They're just 3 graphic novels, basically. So again, they're graphic novels, so easy to get through. And I don't know much about them. One is the Tea Dragon Society by Katie O'Neill that I got through Owl Crate. It's a fairy tale about an adventurous blacksmith apprentice and the people she meets as she becomes entwined in the enchanting world of tea dragons. Obviously, but that's one. The next one is called Dream Daddy, a dad dating comic book. This one I got at BookCon. And again, I think it's just about... Oh, it's a novel. graphic novel based on a video game about dating dads. So, yeah, that should be, again, interesting. And then the third graphic novel I have is called The Wrong Rights, a secret Smithsonian Adventures book. So, I'm guessing it's about airplanes in some way, because that's how it's spelled, the Wright brothers. But I'm not sure again. So I'm going to read those today. I will read those today. Yesterday I said maybe, I don't know. But today I'm like, okay, I will read these today. And get those done and then edit the video. Okay, so I read another 3 books today. Granted, they were all graphic novels and short. But yeah, I did read 3 more books today. Yay, so I got those off my TBR. Which one did I read first? Oh, I read this one, The Wrong Rights. Graphic novel for kids. It talks about these 4 kids who go to the Smithsonian Air and Flight Museum, and they feel a little ill, but then they realize that the Wright brothers exhibition has all changed, and so they meet this guy, and he sends them back in time to figure out what's going on. So it's time travel with technology, and it's really interesting. It's a good way for kids to know what went on back then. The next one I read is The Tea Dragon Society by Katie O'Neill. This is more of a fantasy kind of kids book. Fairly short. I wish it would have been longer, honestly. Because although the pictures were amazing, I wanted the story to be fleshed out a little more. It's all about taking care of these dragons who basically like grow flowers on their head. Yeah, and then they like if you raise these dragons, you're allowed to take off these flowers and make them into tea. And this is kind of why I'm like, I wanted more from this book. I think I gave it like maybe a 3 or 4 on Goodreads, but I kind of wanted more from this book to flesh out the story. The next one was Dream Daddy. This guy here. So this is based off of a computer game, and so in that case I didn't understand it all, but it was interesting because it was 5 different about 5 or 6 different stories dealing with these different characters. So in that way it was good. I don't play the game, so in that regards I was a little lost, but there were still good stories, good visuals. But yeah, that's all I'm going to read today, because I'm actually going to switch cameras now and film kind of my outro to the whole video as well as my intro, because I never did that.
Woohoo! So I did it. I read my 7 books on my TBR plus 4 more. The one from yesterday that I didn't put on my TBR, the Scooby Apocalypse, as well as the 3 today that you just heard about. All really good books. Again, if you're just skipping to the end, I'll link my Reading Rush profile down below, as well as my Goodreads, so that you guys can just look at those and see what I did, because it was a long video. But yeah, I hope you guys found a new book to read. I hope you guys did well on your Reading Rush. But I had a really fun time. I didn't know if I would do it in the middle of the week there, but I got through it. I'm really glad that I did it this year again, for the 2nd time. So with that, if you have any questions, let me know in the comments below, and I will see you guys later. Bye.